I'm terrified. I posted the other day on Facebook that I had a young person tell me that, oh, all elections are like this.
No, they're not.
And then I had a person my age, I'll be 62 in a couple of weeks, who said, well, you know, we survived Nixon and we survived Reagan. And the first thing I thought was of all my friends, and your friends I'm sure as well, who did not survive Reagan. I thought of all of the people in Cambodia and Vietnam and Laos who did not survive Nixon. And there was such a sort of cavalier attitude about it. But this is unlike anything we've seen in a long time. And I find it very frightening.
I do too, and I think it's interesting as well because I think, you know, for Republican voters, and I'm sure there are some here this evening, I know there are some here this evening.
Wow.
You know, who I totally respect. I feel, I mean, I don't respect the American political system because like in any other democracy, most of there's not just two parties. It's not a binary thing. It's amazing that America has taken however many hundreds of years you are, not that many, but the idea that you still only have two political parties that are, you know, I know there's the Green, the Independent, but seriously though, mostly every democracy eventually breaks down into a more accurate depiction of the society's views. And America's stayed in this way, I think on purpose, because it stops people becoming political, because basically politics is like this. It's a two-way thing. It's like some sort of, you know, every once in a while, every 4 years, you have to make a choice. Instead of being active and it being a part of what you how it affects your life. So I'm just so sorry, it's 45. That's 45 minutes to go. I know, it's really interesting. But what was I saying? Something about, oh yes, I know, but what I think was interesting right now is that for people who are Republican, they're now being asked to vote for someone who is absolutely nothing like their ideals. He's kind of like this, which is also, I think, how, like, you know, the people in Germany in the 30s were asked, and the people in Italy and South America, when fascist leaders come to power, of course they come to power slowly, and people look away and they kind of laugh, and then they start to panic, and then all of a sudden you have this fascist regime. I do really feel for Republicans right now who have to make this choice about whether they're going to vote for Donald Trump or not. He is their leader. He is their candidate. But actually, what I think is the most important thing, and really the thing if you take anything away from this evening, I would like you to consider this point, that America does not value education enough.
No kidding.
And so the reason Donald Trump is so popular is that we all have to take responsibility for this, have created a generation, a society where people do not analyze, people probably don't vote sometimes, but maybe they're being engendered to vote now by this rhetoric he's spouting, but they don't question things. If they're told the same thing enough times, they will think it's true. The media, we've created a non-educated media, which doesn't only reports, it does not take these people to task, it does not question, it does not fact check, it's infotainment has become, we used to joke about that, now that is the order of the day. So we live in this age of if you're white and, not just white, but if you're rich, if you have money in this country, then you have, you know, education, and you have healthcare, and you have justice. If you don't, if you're not wealthy in this country, you are not guaranteed health or education or justice. That's just the fact. So the idea, what's really terrifying is the idea that someone, because you've created this uneducated culture, sadly, this country might be ruled by someone who's going to even more punish people and not make them educated or healthy or have justice. And that's the biggest flaw, because actually any culture that's going to survive needs to have people who are educated and healthy and have justice at the very core of their society. So I'm really worried about the rise of Donald Trump. And I would just say that if there are some Republicans in this room who are fighting and are having a moral dilemma about the idea of voting for someone they see as an extremist, even though he represents a party they have thought could do well for this country and has done well for this country in certain times, then I think you have a duty to not vote for him, to say don't vote, and also to go out, and I don't normally adhere to the idea of not voting. Vote for all your senators and congressmen, do all that, but do not vote for this man. He's a dangerous, dangerous man. And also, please go out and if you have any worries, don't toe the party line. Go out and talk to as many of your friends who might be wavering and try and tell them that it's a dangerous thing for America that Donald Trump becomes president of this country. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.